Hello, my friends, and welcome to this video on your coaching profile. Every coach coaches differently, and it's good to know a couple of different ways to explain how you're different and how you're unique. What's your special approach? And I'm going to give you in this video a very practical model that you can use when you're describing yourself and your work to your peers, to prospects, to buyers, all different kinds of folks. So let's jump right into the work. But first things first, if you've ever tried to explain how you are, who you are, how you're different from other coaches, how you're special, how what you do is unique, if you've struggled with how to define yourself, if you've struggled with how to explain what you do to people, I know how you feel. I have actually felt the same way myself. Initially trying to describe yourself is very difficult, and everybody struggles with it. Coaches in all different realms and consultants of all different stripes. This is one of the things that we wrestle with until we get it down. And then when there's a moment, if you remember learning how to ride a bike, and you wobbled and fell and wobbled and fell and wobbled and fell and wobbled and fell, and there was that moment where it clicked, and it was smooth then, and you were able to ride, and you really didn't fall much at all after that unless you were pushing yourself to do something like going off of jumps, which I never did as a child. I loved biking, jumping off little jumps. That's what this is like, and I've experienced that moment where it goes, oh, there it is, and now it's smooth. And now you're not trying so hard, right? You're not trying to ride a bike. You're riding a bike. You're not trying to explain what you do. You just are explaining it. And hopefully this will be one piece of that puzzle for you to explain how you do what you do. So here's what I found. There's a dramatic difference between coaching and consulting. And most people that you're going to run into who are prospects don't understand the difference. I know coaches that don't understand the difference between coaching and consulting. So here's the definition that I use in my mind. Consulting is more hands-off, right? It's more detached. You're not getting as deeply emotionally and psychologically engaged with the people that you're working with. Consulting is a lot about telling. In consulting, you have a perspective that you're trying to convey and answers that you know because you've got experience. And like at the bottom bullet point there, you are better at something. You're better at X than the person that you're consulting for, right? They hire you because you're an expert at it, and they want that expertise, right? There's a lot of telling, there's a lot of observing, right? I'm observing what's going on, and then I'm telling you what you should do to fix it. I'm observing what's going on, and I'm telling you what to do to fix it, right? This is a consulting that's been done for generations. Coaching is a little bit different. Coaching is a lot more hands-on in that, I don't like the word hands-on so much as I like the word integrated. You are more integrated with the teams. You are more integrated with the individuals that you're working with. You're more engaged. And where consulting, you're telling, in coaching, you're eliciting. You're pulling out of them. You're engaging with them and pulling out the best in them, right? The best in you. Coaches pull out the best in you. That's the dramatic difference between those two. Coaching. A coach doesn't have to even. There's different kinds of coaching. Let's talk about this, and then I'll pop back up to that one in a second. Health and wellness coaches, there's skill coaches and career coaches and life coaches. Let me stop right there. Health and wellness, life, career. If you go back up here to this, those types of coaching do an approach that is frequently referred to as coactive coaching. I don't even have to know what it is that you do in order to pull the best out of you in those realms, right? If I'm doing life coaching for you, I don't have to be you, to help you with that. I don't have to be better at being you than you are. You are the best at that. And so a coach comes to that and engages with people and pulls out of them the best of who they are, where a consultant would be telling people this is what you should be doing. Does that make sense? So there's business coaching, there's executive coaching, there's team coaching, transition coaching, right? So if you have a person who's going from being a manager to a director, or a director to a VP, VP to a C level, those jumps often require a lot of learning, and someone to help facilitate you growing in those areas it's something that people do frequently these days. So that's a transition coach, performance coaching, helping you improve on whatever it is that you're trying to improve on. So if some sports star is trying to get better at whatever it is that they're doing to play baseball or to play basketball, a performance coach will come in and help them understand what it is they're doing and how to perform better. So lots of different types of coaching. Agile coaches do lots of different things. So this is that piece that I was talking about, how to help differentiate yourself. These are the 5 types of coaches that I see around in the agile coaching world, and been here for a long time. There are coaches who are facilitators. There are coaches who are delegators. There are coaches who are motivators, advisors, and there's systemic or systems coaches. Now, I fully understand we all move in and out of all these. You need to be good at doing all 5 of these things, because at different points in your career, at different points in any engagement, really, you're going to do these different things. You'll be a facilitator one day and a delegator the next, and a motivator another day and an advisor the next. But you have a home ground where you feel most comfortable. And that's what I'm trying to get at with this. So let's talk about what these 5 things are and how they work out in real life. So a person whose home base is facilitator, and I love facilitating. I think that's one of my one of my stronger home bases. A facilitator comes to an organization, an agile. From now on, I'm just talking about agile coaching. So an agile coach facilitator comes in and facilitates the learning within the organization. Our job is always to help them learn and help people grow, go from A to B, right? That's what coaches always do, no matter. We're helping someone get from where they are now to where they want to be. And a facilitator helps along the way by facilitating exercises, facilitating discussions, by being that kind of mediator person in conversation. They facilitate the growth of the individuals. So there's your facilitator and there's the individuals growing. A delegator is someone who delegates that learning, right? And so it's sort of like a facilitator, except the facilitator comes at something with, these are the things that we need to get done, and facilitates that work to be done. The delegator really delegates entirely the learning process to the group. I have a friend who's an agile coach, and he's fantastic. And he's the ultimate delegator. I have never seen someone who can delegate learning so much. A lot of what he does is what we call holding space, right? It is keeping the room, keeping the conversations between people safe, and open flow of information. So a delegator delegates the learning to the team. So what you're going to learn, the team decides what they're going to learn. How you're going to learn it, the team decides how they're going to learn it. Facilitator, delegator, they kind of go back and forth in those things, but the facilitator has more of a little bit more of an agenda. The delegator really delegates that learning off to someone else. The motivator. This is the agile coach that gets people excited about doing the new things. It gets people excited about the possibilities, gets them seeing the future, and gets people motivated to want to do these things, to learn and grow and become more nimble. There's the advisor, who is this is the other one that I have my other home base. So I'm a facilitator / advisor. Those are the 2 strongest areas for me. Advisor advises, right? We talk, we share. This is more of a one-on-one role, though it can be some small groups. You're helping explain complex ideas to people, right? The new idea is coming in, so somebody doesn't understand what it means to do relative estimation, right? Points estimation or whatever piece, right? You are explaining a complex idea with simple concepts, right? That's the advisor role. You help the other person grow in their agility. And then there's the systems person, right? Or the systemic coach. This is the person that looks at the organization primarily as a system. And if any of you are familiar with Troy McGinnis, he is a systems guy. Brilliant man, and understands agility and the concepts marvelously, and looks at the world as systems. So he's all about the data and how the data and the people are married. I'm doing a little yin and yang thing with my hands right now that you can't see, but how those two things marry together and how one impacts the other, how the people impact the system and how the system impacts the people, and how those things move in and out of each other. So that's a systems coach. Again, we move in and out of all of these. You probably heard me describe all those and go, well, I do that, and I do that, and I do that, and I do all of these. You made my point then, right? The idea, though, is one of these or two of these are your home base where you constantly return to. So then there are four areas of agility within any organization, right? There's the technical practices. Those are things like collaboration and pairing, collective code ownership, the technical things you do, continuous integration, right? It's a technical practice. Writing unit cases on everything, technical practice. Then there's the business processes, right? How do you do budgeting in an agile organization? How do you do portfolio planning? How do you do people allocation? What do you do about reviews, right? Those are business processes. Then there's the culture of the organization. Culture is our collective understanding of what it means when something happens. So if there is a stimulus, the anticipated response that everyone in the organization has is our culture, right? Over time, that we've had several experiences together that have built up an expectation of when this stimulus happens, the organization responds like this. That's culture right there, right? So the idea of when it comes down to the wire for getting a release out, what is our culture? One culture says we push really hard and we stay late and we work extra hours and the company brings in pizza and does all kinds of exciting things, but we work our butts off. And another culture is we continue working the way we have and we cut it off when we need to, or we move the date out if we need to, right? Different cultural responses, but what you believe will happen, that's your culture, right? Well, is it people-centered? Is it customer-centered? Do we have a learning culture? Is it psychologically safe within my culture? Can I speak up, right? If I sit down as if there's a group meeting and there's a junior person and mostly senior persons in the meeting, does that junior person speak up or not, right? Do they feel it's safe to speak up or not? If the junior person doesn't even know any better and they speak up anyway because they're used to the company that they came from where that was okay, and in this company it's not okay for junior people to speak up at a senior person's meeting, right? That's a clash of cultures. So enough beating on that one. Wow, I talked a long time on that, but culture is an important thing to me. And leadership, right? What is the leadership approach within your organization? Is it a servant leadership model? Are you creating safety as a leadership team? Do you facilitate safety? Is it always safe to express yourself? Is it safe to fail? Will leadership support you? Does leadership got your back when failures happen, or does leadership beat you up when something happens, right? Are you a learning organization, right? Is the organization learning? That's all determined by the leadership reinforced in the culture, or reinforced in the culture and reinforcing the leadership. They play in and out of each other. I love using this iceberg illustration because the most important pieces of this, the bulk of it, is what's under the water, right? Leadership and culture are what will make or break your agile organization. You could be doing really whacked things in technical practices and business processes, but if you have the culture and leadership that support you, those top things will change. Because if you're doing a business process that is oppressive, right, but your culture is not, people will start to go, wait, this doesn't make any sense to us, right? And by the sheer force of culture and leadership, the processes and technical practices will change. Okay, so those are the 4 aspects of an agile organization. Now let's put these together and see what we come up with. So remembering the different types of coaches, let's say that you're the person whose home base is being an advisor. Well, your home base and the aspects of agility may be technical, right? So maybe you're a technical advisor coach. My most comfortable space as a technical advisor is sitting down with 1, 2, 3, 5, maybe more people and advising them, showing them, teaching them how to do the technical things, how to do pairing, how to do continuous integration, how to do collective code ownership, right? I'm advising them about the technical aspects. Maybe I'm an advisor whose home base is advising, a coach whose home base is advising and business, right? So then you can see that I would be most comfortable advising people about their portfolio process or their finance, right? How agility impacts their finances, or how it impacts HR, people operations. Maybe I'm an advisor who is a culture coach. So I would then be working with the top leadership, the higher level leadership in the organization to help them understand their culture, how they influence it, how they build it, how they grow it or don't grow it. Or maybe I am an advisor for leadership. Then I spend a lot of time coaching the leaders, training the leaders, giving them advice about what it's like to be a leader in an agile organization. Maybe I'm a systems person, and I'm a systems type coach, and my home base is in the technical things. So I would be teaching the organization how to do continuous integration from a systems perspective. How does it interact? How do the people interact with continuous integration? How do the internal systems within the organization interact, right? So, continuous integration impacts the way you do release planning. It impacts the way you do development. It impacts the way you do code reviews, and it impacts the sales cycle, and it impacts the HR people, right? I see all the ties to the rest of the systems within the organization and how the technical practices then impact that. So you get the idea there. You could also draw it like this. This is where I wanted to get to. Draw yourself a chart like this and have a look at where is your home base, and maybe go to these different areas and put a star or a circle that shows the strength. This big circle is a strength in one area, and a smaller circle is a strength in another area. So what are my 2 or 3 primary spaces? And then what are my other ones that I'm next safe in? And then there's other ones where I don't feel as comfortable in those, right? Maybe you're not a leadership delegator or a leadership facilitator. That's okay. Understanding that helps you realize that when you come to a situation where you're going to need to do that, to either pair with somebody else who is a coach who is a leadership delegator, right? Because that's what this situation calls for, or go into the situation ready to do it, ready to be on fire for it. So that's how that coaching profile works, and that's how you would use this chart to prepare yourself in any given situation to be your best, right? To work in a peak state with each organization. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did find this helpful, you're really going to love the training that's happening. It's not tomorrow. Oh my gosh, it is tomorrow. You're going to love the training that happens tomorrow. It's so cool. We'll be teaching you how to quickly and easily create tons of content, which is something that when you're building your brand, you need to do that, right? I'll teach you how to avoid that feast or famine of gig to gig work. There's some tricks about that and things that you need to know to help smooth out the flow. And I'll share with you that ultimate brand building tool that I've been using recently that has really skyrocketed things for me. It's actually been really incredibly helpful. It is a now kind of thing, and those kinds of things will change over time, but this is very timely for you. So check your email in the morning for reminders and the links, and I look forward to seeing you